So I have to go to sleep soon, but there was one more video that I wanted to make, which is to do a review. This is for people who are avid fans of Marianne Williamson and they want to join some groups on Facebook where they can share memes and discuss policies and um, whatever. So I'm going to link those below, and I'm going to try to. I'm always tempted to like extend my pinky when I'm gesticulating, and I noticed when I was watching some guys on some show or another that it actually looks very cool if you use your index and middle finger to gesture. Anyway, um, yes, there are some groups, so I will link them down below. It's interesting. I'm very fascinated by the phenomenon of technology when it behaves in a seemingly organic or magical way. Like, when some aspect of your internet is deconfigured that you never changed, and you've never been to that part of your computer, or like how the cables get tangled behind your desk and you never go back there. So, like, how would they get tangled? Little things like this. And one interesting thing that I've noticed is that there is a very, very odd phenomenon with the Marianne Williamson Facebook groups, which is that I never know what on earth is going on with them. Um, so I won't even get into what happened to them all last cycle, but I'll just discuss this cycle, but starting with chapter one, which is kind of the day that she launched her campaign. There was, I noticed a Marianne Williamson group on Facebook called Marianne Williamson Supporters. It had like 13,000 members. First thing that happened, she declared her campaign, it got axed, disappeared, gone from the Facebook space. Don't know what happened. I don't know if her campaign axed it or if something more sinister happened, but there was no announcement. There was no, hey guys, we're going to close this group. Maybe you want to come over to this other space or follow Marianne's page or something like that. Nothing, just gone. I was a member from last cycle of two other groups. One was the Madam President group, and the other was the Marianne Williamson content group. And all these groups have different functions. Like, you might just think that they're all fan groups or they're all campaign groups. No, they all have very specific purposes, except for the ones that are just like Marianne for President. There were like four groups with that name that sort of popped up around the same time. Um, so, oh my God, this is going to get so confusing, but I'm going to link all these groups in the description so you can find them if you want to join any of them based on my description or not. Maybe you don't give a crap, which is also fine. So, interestingly, as I discussed in one of my other videos, giant groups are not very active. Like, the Madam President group is probably the largest one, which is admittedly not that large. I mean, we're talking like 3,000 members. Um, it's if you post in there, it's pretty dead. The only thing that seems to kind of not go viral but get a lot of engagement is if you post a photo of Marianne doing something cute, like when she posed in Central Park with the I guess it was like a mime on stilts, but in a very colorful costume. Um, People loved that. People loved photos of yard signs. Marianne 2024. Pretty basic, like just someone stuck the sign in their lawn. It was a very kind of regular, average looking house, and then took a photo of it, and I shared it because I thought, okay, that's sort of sweet, and people loved it. If I post a video from YouTube, almost nothing. I think it is a thing that Facebook tends to favors JPEGs over embedded videos from YouTube. Also, like there's this rivalry going on between Meta and Google. So, um, YouTube doesn't want you to stop watching YouTube to go over to Facebook and vice versa, but they allow it. They allow a little bit, to some extent, some communication between the two, but um, they don't want to, you know, make it too easy. Uh, anyway, so yeah, so the content group, which was it's at about 1,000 members and a bit. The content group has a very specific function. Like Madam President is supposed to be kind of dignified and really only political posts and pretty Marianne Williamson positive, and not too many memes. There is one guy who posts a lot of memes there, but they're pretty straightforward memes. They're not like dank memes. Um, the content group was designed like it sounds, for content. It was supposed to be a resource for people who wanted to share content about Marianne Williamson, whether it was memes, whether it was videos, whether it was stuff about her career as a spiritual lecturer or as a wellness person or Peace Alliance, Sister Giant, or as a candidate. Anything, basically, about her. Um, as far as I know, it was allowed to contain criticism of her. Although I noticed that when I posted anything that was a little bit too critical of her, there was a slight, well, actually, a pretty vociferous outcry from the members. So I stopped doing that. I just, if it's sort of neutral or positive, I'll post it. But if it's like I didn't post the Politico piece, and I didn't post Andrea Rovinsky raging at her camera. Um, so, so yeah, and I didn't even post my response. But otherwise, like if it's something weird and quirky, I'll definitely post it there because there's all kinds of interest in Marianne Williamson that might come from an eccentric angle, and it's not campaign headquarters. It's not a place where a narrative is being crafted to make her look good or something like that. It's really just supposed to be content about her for any purpose whatsoever. Um, then there are the 4 political groups that popped up under the name Marianne Williamson 2024. I think actually no. As far as I know, there were 3. Um, the gray group, the pink group, and the orange group. The gray group, I think it existed already, and then it just changed its name to 2024, and it used to be 2020. Um, and and the pink group, those 2 groups shot up and overtook the content group very quickly after she launched her campaign. And then soon after that, the orange group popped up. And then something weird happened. Now, someone in the pink group, these groups are like not barely moderated at all, and they're full of all kinds of content that has nothing to do with Marianne Williamson, that is really just generally vaguely progressive political content. Um, Something happened to the pink group where someone complained about the content, and then the group got archived. And it was also around the same time that Dr. Cornel West declared his candidacy. So I don't know which of those 2 things was a factor, but it's been archived. And the moderator, there was only one moderator for the pink group, and it was a pretty young looking person. I don't know if they were like too young to vote or if they were really sensitive, but they never really engaged much in what was going on in the group. And and then suddenly the group was archived, and I don't know if they took offense to the complaints or if maybe they changed allegiances, but the group is archived and it's just sitting there, and I've asked Facebook to look into it, and I've offered to take it over, but nothing's going on with it. It's still sitting there archived. The gray group is carrying on, and the orange group, when Dr. Cornel West declared his candidacy, it flipped with no warning to him, and so I left it. Not anything against Dr. Cornel West, I just didn't like that they did that, so I punished them. Then there is the Marianne Williamson fan group, which seems to have been created by bots or sock puppet accounts. It has several moderators who I think are all the same person, because you've got like Elizabeth Warren fan group is a moderator for the Marianne Williamson fan group, and then there's the Bernie Sanders fan group is the moderator for the Marianne Williamson fan group. And I kind of hate them because they never accept any of my posts. But they're big, and they do a lot of memes comparing policies between Joe Biden and Marianne Williamson, which is a useful thing, and it's not anything that you find in any of the other groups. Then there is the Marianne Williamson and Friends group. I don't really know what the mission statement of that group is. I believe it was created last cycle, like 2020 or 2019, and it was created by an older guy who I believe passed away last year. And so I was actually complaining about the fact that it was so inactive, and then I realized that he passed away, and I felt really bad. Anyway, the group has been taken over by, I guess, some friends of his, and it's quite hard to get posts approved to that group. I've had some rejected. I don't really know why, they didn't say. And then also some approved, and I don't know why the ones that got approved did. After I removed some hashtags that seemed to get the post approved, and but it is very, very slow. So, if you want to participate in that group, they seem to be inundated with a lot of people who want to post there, and they can't quite handle the load. Now, interestingly enough, Marianne Williamson and Friends is the perfect number for any post to go viral, because it's at 500 members, which is usually, it's kind of an ideal number for the post to come up in all the members' feeds, or the majority of the members' feeds. If they're just scrolling through Facebook, they'll see a lot of posts from that group, whereas someone who's a member of the Madam President group, if they've not been active in a while, they won't see posts in their feed. Okay. Oh, and then there's Marianne Williamson People's Policy Forum, which so the purpose of that is to focus on policy. I believe, like, it's not really for memes, and it's not really for necessarily like the new paradigm shift, the Lena Franklin. I don't think that would be necessarily something that would be featured there, because it's a little bit more of a philosophical interview. Come to think of it, I think I posted it there though, because I wanted to plug it everywhere. So sorry about that. Anyway, and then okay, we have Healing Crystal Meme Stash, Marianne Williamson Healing Crystal Meme Stash. So there's a lot of it is well understood that Marianne Williamson is not New Age in that way that she's been characterized as. Like, she's not interested in crystals, she's not interested in tarot cards. I think she has a kind of mild interest in astrology. But she's not like that floaty as they make her out to be in mainstream media. Definitely no orbs. However, there are a lot of supporters of hers who love those things and have made groups about her and about those things, and just to combine all their fetishy interests. And interestingly enough, I believe that Crystal Meme is the biggest group in honor of Marianne Williamson, and always was. But like I said, if you're posting something to it, it's not really going to go anywhere. Like, quite a lot of these groups are sort of dead in the water because they're either too big, or the members joined in 2020 or even earlier, and they're just not active on Facebook anymore in the same way. And then there is the Ascendant Chakra Meme group, which I inherited because I saw that it had been archived, and then there was an offer, do you want to unarchive it? I don't know why that came to me, because I don't think I was ever a moderator of that group. Anyway, so I unarchived it and took it over. And then I also unarchived and took over Miracle Wisdom, which is ridiculous. I don't like to see groups getting orphaned and then I want to rescue them like they're little homeless kittens or something. But the thing is, I have not read A Course in Miracles. It's ridiculous for me to moderate the Miracle Wisdom group because I've not read A Course in Miracles. I've not read A Return to Love. I've not read any Marianne Williamson books. I just have been following her since 2019, and I have a good memory for a lot of the things that she talks about. Anyway, is that all the groups? Oh, there's Marianne Williamson Love Tribe, which is a kind of smaller group. Don't know really what it's about. And then the Marianne Williamson Turn Love into a Political Force. Kind of useless because I've got 5 posts sitting there. I think that, like, waiting to be approved. I think that I actually think that if during a campaign season, if your group, if you cannot handle approving a post within 24 hours, you should promote some of your members to moderate so that you can, because you can see, like, it's not hard to see who's active in your group and then who can, as much energy as they're putting into posting comments. If the comments look respectable and respectful, then why not promote some of them to moderator, and then you have more hands on deck, and then posts are getting approved quicker. Because otherwise, I mean, why have the group, like, if it's just going to sit there for days on end? Anyway, what else did I want to say? Oh, there's state groups as well. I don't think for all of the states, but a lot. And certainly the primary states. So, especially, I mean, South Carolina and New Hampshire are pretty active. They're also quite small, but I mean, if you post something to those groups, they get shared fairly widely by the members. And that is all I'm going to say. I will not link the state groups. You can find those, but I will link the main ones that I've talked about, especially the mysterious ones, because I think it's interesting. I mean, the Marianne Williamson fan group, like, what is that? I don't understand. It's like it was created by AI or something. It's very, very odd. Okay, I will link everything down below, and have a great night or day wherever you are in the world. Okay, lots of love.